to a brand new edition of If I Ever Live to Be. In the house, I have Logan Lewis. He's founder and lead creative of Hammerhead Creations. I'm going to go ahead and tell you, he's a little bit of a local celebrity. He would not tell you that, but I'm going to tell you who he is because you probably know him for his podcast, Your Morning Drive, which we're going to get into all the things. But really, Logan, I have to say off the bat, I'm sure Rich Brock thought that he was the celebrity on this show. And unfortunately, that's because he came on before you did. So I'll let you two argue that out. I have to give him a hard time because he's really how you and I met. So welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me, Whitney. I'm excited to be here. And yeah, me and Rich, he probably is more quote unquote famous than me. He's doing big things, as you know. But everything happens for a reason, and going to a Rich Brock comedy show might put you in touch with another local podcaster. So here we are.
That's absolutely. If you could, though, just for my sake, razz him a little bit the next time you see him and let him know that you're kind of reigning like in the ranks. Tell him to check on Google.
Okay.
You've probably surpassed him now.
All right. We'll take a look at the metrics and we'll get back to you.
Oh, I love it. So we're absolutely going to geek out probably on the show because you and I are in a lot of the same space, literally on the podcast side, but also the marketing side. But marketing is such a big word, and we really do like different things under that marketing umbrella. So I would love for you to just share, kind of tee up what it is you do. I will let you put that in your words, because then I'm going to ask you, how'd you get here? What was that journey like?
Sure. So yeah, Hammerhead Creations, that's kind of I've had a full-time job since I graduated college in 2019, but I've bounced around to a few different industries. I was in construction, and then I went to marketing, and then I went to financial services with a local institution, and now I'm in educational technology. And there's just there's a lot of different things that I've done, and no matter what industry I've bounced to, the only thing that has stood out to me were two things: marketing and people. I'm a big people person, and I'm a big fan of branding, of marketing, of catchy logos, catchy slogans. I'm just a marketing nerd. So I decided while working my first job out of college that I was going to start something for myself. I didn't necessarily have plans per se. I just kind of started doing the podcast first and foremost, but the marketing stuff came later, and we'll talk about that later, I'm sure. But to put it all in a bow, I help people, as I'm sure you do, help people be better online. And the angle that I try to tackle it, Whitney, is, listen, you're a business owner. You've got 8 bajillion things that you're worrying about. You're worrying about payroll. You're worrying about sales. You're worrying about all these things. Let me take marketing off your hands. I'm not going to sit here and I'm not going to promise you monstrous results. I'm not going to sit here and promise that people are going to be flooding through your doors because of me using your Facebook and Instagram account. But let me take over. We're going to grow over time. We're going to deliver results. But all in all, I'm doing it so that you don't have to. And that's how I've found some relative success, in that most of the people I work with are like, listen, I could do this on my own, but I don't want to. And I'm like, all right, let's go. Yeah.
I will often say either two phrases, like, number one, what I do is not rocket science. It's really not. It's just that, like, if you are in accounting or plumbing or fill in the blank, you should be do accounting, plumbing, other businessy things.
Sure.
Not thinking of marketing at the end of the day going, oh shoot, I need to post something. Let me get something up really quick. And it's kind of not your best quality. It's not really the best time of the day. The other phrase I'll use is, like, I could throw a rock outside my window and probably hit 15 people who say that they do marketing.
Yeah.
But we all do it a little bit differently. And obviously there's always something that draws others to you. So that was one of my other questions I really thought about as I was looking at your LinkedIn, and what brought this to my attention is I was just on John Ray's Business Radio X up in North Fulton area. You're booked on his show coming up.
Correct.
And so something that he brought out, which I knew I had done it in a strategic way, but he brought out that I really use the word marketing. And so it's like they're on my LinkedIn, but I use communication specialist. So when I was looking on yours, like you have that keyword, because I think that that's important for people to understand, like, okay, marketing, and they get a general sense of what you do. But I love that you have community creator on there as well. So you have way more words in your title than that marketing word. And I would love to hear kind of your thought process behind that and what you think of the word marketing, right? Because it's kind of like everyone's a realtor, everyone's a marketer.
Right. Yeah, that's a really good question. That specific term that you used, I'm glad you used that, because I've been lucky, as I'm sure you have as well, in that I've gotten to record my podcast with a lot of really, really talented and cool people over the years. And there's been times that I have a couple community, what do you want to call them? Mentors, I suppose, that love seeing me grow, that don't really even have anything to do with what I do, but they just are passionate about seeing me grow. And they, over time, have always been these people that have been like, hey, I got a person for you, or hey, I got a person for you. But since I've done the podcast and I've gotten to connect with all these people myself, now I'm that guy. I don't want to say that I'm mentoring anybody, because I don't think I am, but I definitely, it maybe once a day, someone's like, hey, do you know a photographer? I'm like, yeah, I interviewed one. Here's her number. Or, hey, do you know somebody that specializes in this? Yeah, I do. Here's his number. And I'm embracing that. And it's so much fun to put two people together that you've done business with or interacted with, and then you see them post something on social media that they've worked together and they've created something together. And you're like, maybe it's a little bit of an ego thing of like, yeah, I put them together and look, they're cooking now. But for the most part, I just love seeing people put their strengths together and make fun things. That's really it. But to answer the second part of that question, what does marketing mean to me? The marketing company that I did work for, their motto was, if you're not online, you don't exist. And in 2025, that's extremely relevant. It seems like if you're not adopting the latest and greatest trend or technology or software or whatever, you're going to be left in the dust. And like we said, business owners are focused on running their business, and they're remembering, oh, I need to post something today because it's been a week since I've put. And it's not quality. It's oftentimes they're recycling the same pictures within the last 2 weeks, and there's duplication on their feed, and it just doesn't look great. Yeah. And I just want people to look good. That's it. Your office operations could be people running around with papers flying in the air, trash cans are on fire, nobody knows what's going on. But as long as you look good online, I feel like your business can grow and recover from the everyday struggles. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. Yeah. And you hit on something that's so important, which it really is about community, right? Like somewhere we forgot the fact that social media is supposed to be social. Like how many times have we heard that, right? But I feel like we've gotten away from truly embracing that. And it's become more about just do it, and doing it is a part of it. Yes, you have to be present. Yes, you have to do the thing, but there's the confidence in your work. It's how you look, right? How you're showing up. But it's also that authentic piece. If it sounds like chat GG, If it sounds like ChatGPT wrote it, and it looks like ChatGPT wrote it, then ChatGPT probably wrote it.
Yeah. Yeah. And the AI thing, I released an episode a couple weeks ago with a woman who's pro AI, and it's funny because her job, she was laid off because of the advancements in AI.
Interesting.
And she's still a champion of it if you utilize it in ways that can make you or your business, if you're spending 30 minutes a week sending invoices, AI can do that for you. It can automate it. And she's pro not the taking people's jobs, but helping people take out the mundane and boring tasks. So I'm for using AI. I use ChatGPT quite often. In fact, I pay for it at this point. I've now started in the last week paying for ChatGPT because I utilize it so much, but I use it in a way that it feels like it's not fake or a robot. I've gotten to this place where I've actually trained my ChatGPT not as a tool, but as a person. And I treat it like a person. I say please and thank you. I say great job, or that wasn't good enough, try again. And it learns how I operate so it feels more human. And I know that there's only so much we can do with making a robot feel human, but I feel like I've got it, and it's done all right for me so far.
Well, and that's an important key point that you highlight there, Logan, of it's not a reliance. It's really your influence on the machine. I don't know where they take over and start to influence us, right? I don't really think that that's going to happen. And I've said this before. I think the outputs are only as good as the inputs, which is, from us. And I think that there are just some things that will never replace a human.
I'm with you. Like you said, the input and the output have to go together. You're not gonna go to ChatGPT and type in "show me a dog," and you might be looking for a dog running in the rain from a Tyrannosaurus Rex or from its human throwing a frisbee. But if you're not detailing that and using the right keywords or the right describers and adjectives, you're not going to get the piece that you need. So somebody told me a while ago, they're like, it's not AI that's going to replace people. It's the people that know how to use AI that are going to replace other people.
Interesting. That's an interesting take.
Little tidbit to keep you thinking on your Friday today.
Yeah. All right. So you said you actually started the podcast before your own business.
This is correct.
So walk us through, how did you know that you needed to do this thing?
Whitney, I don't know. Here's my thing is I started the podcast because when I was in college, one of my buddies sent me a link to a podcast. He was like, hey, you should listen to these guys. They're a lot of fun to listen to. And I was like, a podcast? Like NPR? Like Rush Limbaugh podcast? And they were like, yeah, but no, these guys don't talk about anything serious. And if they do talk about something serious, they spin it and talk about it in a jokey sense of humor kind of thing. And I was like, okay, I'll give it a shot. And I was hooked immediately. I was like, oh my God, these guys get to have so much fun. And this was their job. They worked for an ad agency who decided to start doing podcasts, and podcasts became this thing that they just pivoted their entire line of business to be podcast driven. And I was obsessed with them, Whitney. I listened to all their shows. I was following all of them on social. I was interacting with them on Twitter. I was in it. And I was like, I want to do this. This is fun. I've always been a talker. I've always been someone who thinks outside the box a little bit.
Yeah.
So I was like, you know what? We're gonna do the darn thing. And so I went to Best Buy that day, bought a mic, plugged it into my computer, and started recording. I didn't have a plan. Nice. I didn't have a name. I didn't have a logo. I just started recording. And that stuff all came later, which, in hindsight, slow it down, Logan. Because I'm the kind of guy that if I get excited about something or if I get something in my head, it's all I think about until I do that thing.
Yeah.
And I knew it was going to bug me. So I was like, screw it, dude. What do I have to lose?
Yeah.
So I went and bought the mic and started, and it's just evolved over time.
There's so much merit in that though, Logan, because think about, I'd much rather be that way of like, I have an idea and go for it. And even if we need to tweak it or it didn't work out or change it, whatever the case may be, that's so much better than thinking about it and thinking about it. And 10 years down the road, you're still thinking about it. I mean, you went and did it. At least you gave it a shot and look what it did.
Yeah, it's been so much fun. And I'm the kind of guy that I want to learn a lesson by doing it. Like I want to be, I don't want to be punished, but I want to be punished, and I want to come out of that punishment knowing what I got to do next time. Like, I don't want to just read a book. Like, I don't want to read a Podcasting for Dummies book from front to back and think, okay, well, now I feel like I kind of get it, because I'm ultimately the kind of guy that, if you're teaching me long form division and you're showing me on the whiteboard how to do long form division, I'm never going to know how to do it until I do it myself.
Yeah.
You can teach it on screen for me, but unless I whip out my notebook and copy it word for word and then get home and copy it again and then copy it again, I'm never going to learn it. So I decided, I guess I've always been that way of just like, I want to do this. And maybe it's OCD. Maybe I just become obsessed with the thing and can't stop thinking about it. But yeah, that's just the kind of guy. I just don't want to have regrets. I don't want to think when I'm 60, man, I really wish I would have started that podcast. And that's why I think my relationship with Rich got so strong, is because he was like, hey, I've got a dream and I want to do it before I die. Yeah. At least try it. At least go to an open mic or two and try it out. And if it works, great. And if it doesn't, hey, I tried. And look at him now. He's killing it. And so that's why I think me and him got along so well, is because we both have that mindset of like, screw it. We have nothing to lose.
Yeah. Well, I think that positions you to pivot where needed, right? And that's even if it doesn't work out, but also if it does. I mean, if you're already both feet in ahead of the game, because the industry is constantly changing. There's always new technology. There's always new equipment. Something, it's constantly evolving. And if you're already on the forefront of that, then your feet can move a little bit quicker and you can adapt. I kind of came in the back door of that because I was in radio.
See, I'm jealous though, because I wish I had been in radio, because I feel like half of the journey that I've been on could have been cut off because of all the things that I just learned on the fly, and just like, oh, wow, I didn't realize that a pop filter really does help. Like I little things like that I realized over time was like, good Lord, I could have saved a lot of time and money if I would have just done that from the get-go.
Yeah. Well, and there's two sides to every coin, because that's where I started, but it was, even when I was in radio in 2011, they were talking about the fact that it was going to go away, right? Just like newspaper. I mean, there was this constant threat that radio was going to go away. And indeed, the local Atlanta station that I used to work for no longer exists. I mean, I think they just closed shop into last year, beginning of this year. So, I mean, they still continue on long after I left, but, and it was really in the corporate world. And I learned a lot from that. I definitely don't want to subtract from the lessons I've learned there, but you can only go so far, right? I had a great boss that allowed us to play and do new things, bring cameras in and start to kind of expand that, where it wasn't just face for radio speak anymore, that you could actually record the video at the same time you're broadcasting. But there was red tape and you could only go so far, and you hit that limit and you're like, okay, I either got to let this go, or back to your point, go all in.
Yeah. Yeah. I've just kind of evolved over time, and just, if you get on my podcast feed and you start scrolling back, Your Morning Drive was not always the name. And I've gone through rebrand after rebrand after rebrand to figure out what the heck I'm doing. And Your Morning Drive, I'm so thankful for the conversation I had with someone who I would consider maybe one of those mentors. And he just said, man, you got to just find something that people will relate to, and you won't know it until you have it. And I was like, okay. So that night, I just started like throwing words out, and I was just like, okay, this, that. And then I was like, my wife was like, what does everybody have in common? Every human, for the most part. And I was like, well, everyone gets in the car in the morning and goes to work. She was like, okay. So everyone has a morning commute, a morning journey, a morning drive. And I was like, stop. Morning drive. Your morning drive. And she was like, go look up the domain, go look it up, see if it's taken. Not taken nowhere. The social handles, the domain, everything was ready. And I was like, oh, shoot. Like, this is it. And it just feels good.
Yeah.
God, I love it so much. Just thinking about like where I've been and now that I'm here.
Yeah.
It's just so satisfying. I mean, the journey is definitely part of it.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And I'm right there with you on that. I've changed a lot, branding, names, all those good things. But it makes you feel good when you look back and you kind of see how you've adapted and changed and how far you've come.
And people often that's a criticism I've gotten a lot, is that, oh, well, you change your brand every 2 years. And I'm like, well, that might be true, but like you said, I'm kind of rolling with the punches, figuring out as I go. But I can pretty confidently say that Your Morning Drive is the final destination.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think I'm going to wake up in a year and a half from now and realize that there's a better name and a better logo. Maybe the logo will evolve over time. I mean, last year my logo was green and everything was green, but this year when I started 2025, I made it blue. And so I'm going to keep that trend going. Every New Year's Day, I'm going to change the logo to a different backdrop. I think this next year I'm going to do purple or red. And so I'm, if you count that as a rebrand, then okay. But I'm just trying to. I also get bored easily, Whitney. So like over time,
creatives often do.
I'm like, you know what? I love that green, but God, it would look good with red or purple or orange even. I mean, I've got a color on that backdrop for every color in the rainbow. So don't be surprised on New Year's Day 2026 when Your Morning Drive's logo is a different color.
Nice. Well, you highlighted something else so important, Logan, is I love that you were able to bounce that off with your wife too and bring her into that creative process and her like throw out ideas with you. Speak to that, because I think that is life partner is a major decision. I think it gets lost sometimes how important that decision is, because that person literally impacts every single area of your life. And you kind of think, well, yeah, Whitney, because you're living with it. I'm like, no, you don't understand. It's every single nook, cranny, crevice, crack, bad day, good day, all the things that your life partner impacts. And so it sounds to me like you have an amazing wife that supports what you're doing and you being a business owner, because it's not 9 to 5.
Yeah, Whitney, those are all great points. I'll go ahead and get out of the way and say that my wife is my creative director. She is my go-to. What do you think of this? What do you think of that?
Yeah.
Here's an idea. Give me your unfiltered thoughts about it. Like, she's really, really creative. She's a second grade teacher, so she is often brainstorming different ways to communicate to kids.
Yeah.
And so she'll do the same with me. Like, how can I communicate this right? Or how can I do this differently? Or what would you say if you were a parent and you saw this, or whatever? So we do that a lot with each other and it helps a ton. But she will be mad at me if I did not say that every single one of my good ideas has come from her.
Love it.
I mean, maybe not every single one, but a strong majority of my good ideas have come from her. And I have to do that first and foremost and give her credit. So if and when she listens to this, she can take that in and say, yes, he acknowledged that I am in fact, I think on the Hammerhead Creations website, she's labeled as the creative director, like as if she's a real employee of the company, which she's not, but she is at the same time.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, she's honest with me when something's not going to work. She's like, man, I just don't think that's going to work. And I'll try it. and she ends up being correct, as women often are. And we'll move on. Sometimes she lets me figure it out for myself, and she'll say, okay, try that out, see how it goes. And it usually doesn't go. And then we go back to the drawing board. She's great at just being that person. Like you said, I mean, the entrepreneurship life is definitely hard. I mean, I don't have children, so I'm thankful for that for now, because I don't know what the hell I'm going to do when I do have children. Sorry for the HE double hockey sticks, but I'm tired already, Whitney. I'm ready for bed at 9 o'clock every night, but I can't go to bed because I've got social posts to make and websites to make and podcast clips to make, and I do it all myself. I don't have any people helping me in the Philippines, although I should probably consider it. It's just all me. So
yeah,
it's a hard balance. I think about it all day, Whitney, every day. I think of, oh, well, I need to get this done, but I really should shut the laptop. Like, I really should slam that laptop shut, but I can't. Even in bed, I'm on an iPad just looking at emails and shit. Sorry for the cussing again. Can I curse on here?
Yes.
Okay. I didn't know. I know your whole brand. You're very polished compared to mine, that people just say whatever the heck they want. But sometimes
don't worry, Apple. We'll put the explicit E. this has gone off the rails. It's terrible. No,
golly, stop these people. Shut this broadcast down. StreamYard's gonna come knocking on your door and say, open up.
Hey, every now and then you got to get a little passionate about something, right?
You do. So it's a hard balance, but I'm starting to figure it out. You know, I've gotten advice from mentors of like, hey man, you really got to micromanage yourself as an entrepreneur. You gotta time block, and you gotta do all these. You gotta be intentional. Put the phone on the other side of the room. Like, you gotta really focus in when it's crunch time. But I'm starting to try to navigate the, like, okay, it's okay if I shut my laptop and don't do anything for the rest of the day. Like, I'm starting to get there, but as I've gotten busier over the past couple months, it's gotten harder to. But that's part of it. We're learning as we go. Yeah,
absolutely. No, it is. It's a constant struggle. I mean, I don't have everything figured out at all. So maybe I'll share a piece of advice with you and you can share one with me, Logan, that will help. But what I have found is when I do hit the wall. So, I mean, your mentors are right. And I've often been told that too, of like, you've got to make sure that you carve that time out for yourself and family. That's super important. And it's good to figure it out now as best as possible. I will tell you what I have discovered is when I've hit that creative wall, stepping away, like, you feel like you want to stick there until you figure it out and finish the project, but that's actually counterintuitive. It sounds that it wouldn't be, but it absolutely is. And so when you hit that creative wall, actually like stepping back and saying, okay, me continuing to stare at the computer actually doesn't do anything. It doesn't do anything for me. It gets no project completed. No wave of creativity hits me. I'm much better off if I step away, even if only for a couple of hours of the next day. Step away, come back to it, which is, can be a good point or a bad point of owning your own business, because really and truly you could take off, on Thursday at 2:00. If you needed to, you may have to work longer on Friday or a couple hours Saturday morning, but that's the flexibility of it. So,
yeah. It's a constant, like we've said this whole episode, Whitney, it's just a constant growing and taking ownership for the things you do or don't know. I mean, marketing is a tough world, especially because it's such a broad term that anything could apply to it. But
yeah,
I mean, it's a constant struggle / constant adventure. Yeah.
So what have you found that has worked for you?
You touched on a second ago about authenticity.
Yeah.
I just give people who I am, unfiltered. This is Logan right here, guys. Like this is the real raw me. Like I talk to people not with a sales voice. Like I said with the whole social media thing, like let me do it for you. Like I'm sure there's a more professional way to say, "Oh man, I'd love to take this off your hands." No. Let me do it for you because I know you don't want to. I speak, of course, professionally when it calls for that, but I give people who I am right up front. And I've really leaned in the last couple years, Whitney, into community. Maybe it's because I moved to a small town in Cartersville. I know that it's growing, but it's still got that small town vibe. I moved to a small town and I've gotten close with some business owners, and I've just kind of recognized the importance of everybody helping each other. And that has worked for me a lot. Your morning drive would not be in its place had I not embraced local community people.
Yeah.
It would not. I could be producing the craziest episodes ever, but no one would listen, I don't think, if I wasn't this community connector, community creator that I'm trying to evolve into. But that's worked, but also just being transparent. Every time I rebranded, every time I started fresh, every time I did all that, I communicated that and I gave my reasons why. Like, hey, we decided to change the brand because that phase of the podcast has ceased to exist, and we're moving on. And with moving on comes a change. And sometimes you've got to make change. There's a lot of people that hate change, but I am no stranger to it. So I embrace it. That's the thing I've done, I guess, that I can summarize it all with, is just embrace the change. Be open to change. Be open to new ideas. That's what I've done my entire life. So, yeah.
Well, this is perfect timing because, and I didn't warn you about this before we started the podcast. So, but I know you can handle it. It's fine. So speaking of change and going through different iterations and our mentors, I had a mentor that gave me, he listens to every episode and I appreciate that very much. And he gave me feedback and he was like, you know what, Whitney, you know, I love the podcast, but I miss something that you used to do in other versions. And I was like, all right, hit me with it. I'm always open to making something better. And he really liked when I always had this ending question that was the same for every single guest. He was like, I love hearing all the different personalities and cultures and age ranges and positions in life, right? Answer the same question. And so I was like, okay, no, I like that. That's right. I'm missing that from If I Ever Live to Be. So Logan, you actually get to be the first person that I bring this back and ask this question. But, you know, I changed my title of the show because when I redid this again, I wanted to open it up a little bit more and I love talking to business owners, but I didn't want that to have to be a prerequisite basically to come on the show. So every show is something that I aspire to be. And I never know what the title is going to be till after I'm done with that conversation. So I thought, what better ending question, put a bow on an episode than to ask the guest, what do they want to live to be? So what is something Logan Lewis, when he's like, when I grow up, I want to be this. What is that for Logan?
That's first of all, honored to be your first time after a hiatus of asking that question. And you'll find, Whitney, funny enough, that I do the same thing.
Oh, sweet.
I ask all of my guests a collection of questions that have evolved over time. Yeah, so I ask my guests the same question or similar questions every single episode to get all their takes on it. And they're probably very similar questions to the one you just asked me. But what do I aspire to be? What do I want to live to be? That answer changes frequently.
That's okay. I think mine does too.
Ultimately, Whitney, I think that I just want to be a guy that people can trust. I want to be somebody that people can bounce an idea off of, and I'll give them my real honest answer. Someone who is like, hey, I want to start a podcast, but I don't know how to do it. Can you help me? Absolutely. I'm not going to milk you for your time and money. I want to help you along your journey, because I had some great people that helped me along mine, but only recently, Whitney. So I navigated a lot of this alone. And as you know, as another entrepreneur and marketer and podcaster, it's very lonely. And I don't want people to have to go through that like I did. And I just want to be that person, whether you're a brand that needs ideas or a podcaster that's struggling with something, or a business that needs help with their website. Like, I just want to be your go-to guy. If I were to think crazy, I'd love if one day some TV network saw my podcast and were like, hey, this guy kills this. We should give him a talk show, a long form, hour-long interview. Not like Jimmy Fallon where he gets 15 minutes to interview a guest, but I mean like a real long form conversation with guests. That would be a pretty dope scenario.
If that happens, I'd love to love to come on. Look,
I'd love to have you, Whitney.
Remember the little people when you
I tell Rich that all the time. I'm like, hey, when you're out there touring with Dave Chappelle and Joe Rogan, remember the little guy.
Exactly.
Remember the guy who filmed you at your show at the Three Strands Winery. So I can.
And the two that have been to way too many shows.
Way too many. It's been a while though. I need to get back out and see him. It's been a minute.
Yeah. I will be seeing him tonight, actually. He's doing a fundraiser for a good friend of mine and Never Alone Foundation. So yeah, it's like a charity fundraiser event. Comedy and a dinner show.
Funny enough, I've been coordinating with her to get her on my podcast as well.
Perfect.
But yeah, I wasn't able to make tonight work. Some things happened and I just couldn't. But because she texted me and asked me to come, and I was like, I'd love to, but I just can't work. Can't work it out. But yeah, good people.
She's a fantastic guest. Her story is amazing.
I can't wait to hear it.
And just where God's brought her and used her, and just that whole, it's amazing. Her journey is amazing. So I will look forward to listening to her episode on your show. So awesome. Before I let you go, Logan, please tell our listeners where they can find you, connect with you, learn about Hammerhead Creations, all the good things, and listen to the podcast, of course. Of
course. Well, you guys, first of all, thank you, Whitney, for allowing me to be here. You're an absolute gem of a person. The few interactions we've had, I've always walked away from and thought, man, I want to talk to her like every day. Like, you just seem to be like a person that I want to have in my close circle. And I love that we've gotten to interact more and more over the last couple months. So I look forward to being able to do that more.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
But guys, anywhere that you're listening to Whitney's podcast, you can listen to mine. It's called Your Morning Drive. It's on Apple, Spotify, and YouTube. If you want to learn more about Your Morning Drive and my experience with the marketing side of things, you can go to hammerheadcreations.com. You can follow it on Instagram at Hammerhead Creates. Same thing with Your Morning Drive. All of the social handles, whether it's LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, everywhere, it's just at Your Morning Drive. Chat me up on LinkedIn. I'm really trying to grow more on LinkedIn and take advantage of that. Who knows? I might get back into premium. Who knows? Because I love connecting with people, as you've heard me talk about, and I love finding a place where everyone can thrive. And yeah, just find me on LinkedIn. It's Logan Lewis. I think if you go to a URL, I think it's linkedin.com/Logan Lewis 96, I think. But yeah, chat me up, send me a message. I respond to everybody. I'm just happy to meet people and hopefully make an impact.
Yeah, it's funny. I remember us talking about like Instagram and LinkedIn, and I was like, my LinkedIn's great. but you're killing it on Instagram. I'm like, mine stinks. And you were kind of like, because you don't really like post that often. He's like, you do know, Miss Marketer, that you have to like regularly post to get any interaction. So I need to like, it's been a little while since Whitney's posted on Instagram. So really I need to go. I think I'm going to do that right now. And I will give you a shout out, Logan. It's going to be one of those like me. I don't get any interaction, Logan, because you never post there. And I'll be like, oh, yeah, you're right.
Yep. That sounds about right.
Well, this has been great. So fun. Thanks for coming on, Logan.
Thank you for having me, Whitney. I appreciate it.